Today on Uncommonly Good MTG, it's Top 5 Favorite Decks Day. Top 5 Favorite Decks Day. Top 5 Favorite Decks Day. Alright, so what is it? It's the day when I look back upon the last month and I pull out my favorite 5 decks and we go over what they are and why they were so awesome. Will your favorite deck make my list? Stay tuned to find out more. Hello and welcome to Uncommonly Good MTG. I'm your host, the one and only magnificent Dr. Yukon Socket. Yes, thank you. Filmed before a live studio audience. Thank you so much. Yukon Socket. Word to your mama. So I'm broadcasting to you today from my secret underground headquarters, and I'm bringing to you the top 5 favorite decks of August 2023. So what is top 5 favorite decks day? We talked about a little bit before the cut. What we're going to do is we're going to load back over the entire month of August, and we're going to identify those 5 decks that were my favorite to play. And we're going to watch at least one game from each of them again, and we'll talk about what made that deck so good. One thing I love about this day is it gives me a chance to revisit my favorite decks. And that way, in the months to come, I'll be able to go back and say, look at how awesome those decks were. Let's go ahead and play those again. It's nice just to group them all back up. Because I can tell you, when you play day to day to day, sometimes you just play a bunch of duds, you play a bunch of okay decks, whatever. But when you look back over a month and you pull out the top 5, that's just awesome. You know, it kind of reminds me of like you look back at the decades of music and you say, I'm going to play the best music of the 90s. You think, oh my God, the 90s had the best music ever. Let me tell you, the 90s music, a lot of it sucked. You listen to the radio, sucked. But yeah, you pull out, the 2 songs per month that were awesome. You pile it all up. That's a lot of songs you could play over and over again. And it sounds awesome. There's a bunch of great stuff. But 90% of the music of any decade sucked. Anyways, the same is true about Magic cards, apparently. 90% of what you play on a daily basis sucks if you change it all the time. Yeah, you work on one deck for a bunch like regular people do. Maybe your decks are awesome. Not me. Every day I got to shift to a different deck. Maybe I play 5 decks. I'm just trying to find something entertaining and interesting to play. But yep, when I go back and look at 5, man, no, those were good. Those are good. You know what the weird part about this month? No Boros Nuke. I never got around to it. Trying to put together Boros Nuke 7 or 8, wherever we're up to now. I bet you with Wilds of Eldraine coming out next month that we're going to be able to find some cool stuff to slam into Boros Nuke to make it really pop. Or do something different or weird. I don't know, but it sounds super cool. Let's hope. Cross my fingers. I haven't looked for it, but we'll see. All right, so what makes a deck one of my favorites? Let's run down the list and we'll talk about it. Number 1, the deck has a good chance of winning. So for me, it's not about, a deck that's going to climb you up the ladder. It's going to get you up to that whatever diamond or mythic level. I'm just looking for something that has a good chance of winning. I mean, I don't know, 55, 60%, anything right around there is usually good for me. I want to win more times than I lose, as long as it does other things as well, which we'll be talking about here in just a second. But there has to be a good chance of winning. If it's under 50%, man, usually that deck doesn't hold it together for me very long. Number 2, it has to put up a good fight. So yeah, that's pretty much what I'm looking for there. I'm looking for the deck that's putting up a good fight and has a good chance of winning. Like, you got a lot of those decks, maybe it's like I get kind of really bored with control decks because all you're doing is just keeping your opponent from doing anything. And that's not a good fight. That's just being dumb. I want to see some creatures swinging. I don't know. I mean, maybe we're going to shock people every once in a while. Sure, that's fine. But I kind of want a lot of creature action there. Or there needs to be something really interesting going on with what your deck's doing. Like somehow I find mill decks to be fantastic, even though they don't really do anything. But that's the thing about mill decks is that they have their own fight they're playing. And I respect that for some reason. But yeah, it's got to be going towards something. But if your deck is just sitting there swirling around the drain the whole time, and that's just stupid. But and then control decks, counter spells, man, nope, that's not gonna play it with me. Number 3, the deck has to have interesting cards, or the synergy between your cards has to be interesting. So some cards are interesting unto themselves, well, like Urbrask Forge, right? I'd say another one would be like the Sholdreds themselves. Those guys are, especially Sholdred. What is it? The first one. The one that every time somebody draws a card, like you get 2 life, the other people lose 2 life. Love that. I think those cards are interesting unto themselves. But the synergy that of cards coming together, like a good tribal deck, like when you had elves and each elf is equal to the number of elves that you have otherwise, that kind of synergy, man, I just find that to be so incredibly cool. So that's what I'm also looking for in a good deck is interesting cards or the synergy between the cards, making it an interesting deck to play. Lastly, I got for bonus points in there, a big finish. It doesn't have to be there. Your deck can just do what it needs to do. I love a big finish. That's kind of what I like a lot about mill decks is the fact that a lot of times, the last time you do something, you're milling them. You're getting rid of like 12 cards or something. Or I love it when, let's talk about Boros Nuke. When you get that Devilish Valet out, he's got haste, he's got trample. You manage to also attack with like 6 dudes at that one time, which then causes like the white enchantment that doubles all your attackers up. So you get like 7 other guys to come out, and Devilish Valet gets like 526 for his tough or for his power. That is a big finish. God, I love that stuff. Huge. What were they? Fireballs back in the day where you just got a ton of mana. Or you can do a Shivon Devastator who's like really super strong, flies over with haste and kills somebody. Love it. Working your way towards that big finish. There's some planeswalkers now that do that, where you can get them up to 7 and you give all your creatures trample plus, +1/+1 for each forest you have. Man, that is so incredibly cool. So yeah, those are the kinds of things that make a favorite deck to me. So yeah, that's it. Well, let's go out now and see what were my top 5. Starting off is in 5th place. Let's see what it is. All right, playing against Magister. Keep. Well, I got too many soundtracks playing at one time. I don't know how that happens. Anything I do fast here? Fewer lands? Whatever. It's black is what I kind of need for it. So let's just keep it black out there. Opperland Gorge. Get ourselves a nice little frothy vampire chef. Like, where are the... Okay, the birds are coming from his lands. All right. I'm going to wait. I'm just going to kill this guy. That sounds like more fun than anything else. And all in. Can't do anything with what I got because there's no black here. G'day, human. Alright, I'm gonna eat his soul. Put out a land. Urbrask Forge. I'm gonna start the cycle of pain. All right, so I need 5 for this guy. I've only got 4. I can still go for throats as of the next turn. Will these birds shut up? All right, Cubert, you look like you need some food. There you go. Enjoy your Energon cubes. No, not Herbrast Forge. Please don't. Oh, thank God. Artifact, creature. Okay, it says do anything like that. We just kill this guy directly. Boink. I go get a land. On me, buddy. All in. Down 11. You suck it, Gandalf. I gotta say, whatever's doing birds right now is driving me nuts. I like the other sound. I just don't particularly care for the birds. Bird. Oh. 3, 4, 5, 6. I just need mana is what I really need. I'm not willing to give anything up for it, though. Let's do it. Let's get rid of Zaitora. It's fine. Wow, why can't I play this right now? See, that's just ridiculous. I should have been able to play that. Still no mana for me. That is nuts. All right, all in. You gonna block their life gain? We're on the slow boat because we cannot get out the mana that we need. Yeah, I got faith in you. Don't worry. Are you tricking me? No, you only got 1 mana. You got 1 card in your hand. You got like 1 billion mana. Man, I'm so jealous of you. Mana! Yoink. Well, he's just trying to plow everything back here. I'll attack. Dude, that's only... I mean, I'll get 1 through. Let's put it that way. And that's if you decide to sacrifice everything for it. Alright, so you're going to kill poor Vraska, who wasn't doing anything to you at all. All right, nice. Let's win the game. How's that sound? And this is how we win it. In your face, Gandalf! Greyheim! victory! Here we are looking at, was it Jun's Sacrifice? And why did this deck make the list? Why was it one of my favorites of this month? It was because it was a good fighter. It stayed in, what I'm trying to say, it put up a fight throughout the entire time. You were always playing, and it had a really good chance of victory. I mean, this thing was incredible as far as its pure numbers. Plus, what I really like is like you have cards such as Nissa here and Zayatora for providing that big, gigantic like splash at the end of a game to allow you to just sort of finish things off. What was great about Nissa was until the turn creature go get +1/+1 for each force you control. Still not much, but between this one, you have what, 3 total? All right, I guess it wasn't as big of a bunch as I thought it would be. But Zayatora being able to fling guys and stuff. The other person was flinging was the Voldrin Thrill Seeker. I mean, all of that was just fantastic. As far as just meeting the qualifications with what made a really good deck. Like, I gotta say, I usually am not a big fan of tricolor decks, or, more than that, because I hate having to balance the mana. You're always sitting there like, oh, I can't do something because I don't have my 3rd mana or whatever. This deck seemed to hold off okay. I never really had a problem. It did a good job of providing the mana you needed when you needed it, and it did all right with that. I never had that problem. So anyways, what was great about this deck, it was a good fighter, it had great win rate, and it had that giant splash at the end. It always provided for a good time. Jun's Sacrifice, one of my top 5s for August of 2023. Alright, playing against Grogita 2K. Gogita. Alright, let's keep it. I don't like Stinky Dog. Kind of hoping we'll pull something we can play on turn 2. There we go. We do have something to play on turn 2. All right, what are we roughing into here? Phyrexian Dragon Engine, probably. Maybe Mono first. Dragon Engine needs the pluses. So I'm thinking we put out our 4th land, Kumano, and then Kadma, and then put out Dragon Phyrexian Engine on the next turn. In for 2. Down to 10. All right. Lightning Strike, we need to take out whatever. He's just going to kill something. Take out whatever creature he puts in play. This sucks, but I kind of have to do it. Because I could have used that to get rid of the Mechanized Warfare. Yeah, you'll deal 2. All right, let's go in there, hasty haste mix in. And we win. Suck it. Suck it. And now we're looking at Awesome Gruul. Why was it so awesome? You know, it was the modified. It was the passing out of those Popo tokens, right? +1/+1. Man, I love that about that deck. What I loved about it was the fact that it was kind of hasty between the Kumano and the Shivan Devastator. Do we have any other hasty guys in here? It just seemed fast. I don't know what the deal was. So, got a little bit of haste going on, but we just had so much growth. So much. Plus, being able to leverage Boulder on Thrill Seeker to take some of your big guys that you might get out and then just hucking them at people's faces. Man, that was so good. Where I like to be a nice combo between like Boulder and Thrill Seeker and Corellian Beast Caller, where you kept growing up that Beast Caller like nuts. Then you take the Boulder and throw an extra 2 on her, spend the extra 1 to just throw that at somebody, then take all of those tokens and put it on some of the other dudes, maybe Helena and Alana, and then she can turn around on the next turn and start throwing it onto some other guys. Oh, ho, ho, ho. So yeah, the big brainness is kind of big with this deck. I liked it quite a bit. I thought that it just had such a good way of playing fast, playing hard, and just growing. It's way faster, and then just using your guys in ways that other people just can't deal with. It was just so oppressive that people just couldn't handle it, and that's exactly what I'm looking for. Did this thing have any big strikes? Not really. I mean, the biggest thing you had going on is like Boulder and Thrill Seeker with a fling, and that's your big strike. You don't have any sort of like Mishra to do a meld or anything like that. Arlen does an okay job of being awesome, but without being overblown. So yeah, this deck was very aggro on being on the light side. It's still incredible. This was an early month deck for me, but it gave me faith that the deck could have good tidings coming forward. And so yeah, Awesome Gruul, one of my favorite decks of this month. All right, we will be playing against Bon Don. Bombondon. Keep. All right, we can get ourselves up to 3, which is good. Number 2 is still awesome in this case. Red's known for getting rid of artifacts. All right, I would expect he's going to slam down on that guy. There we go. Does he have it again? All we have to do is get above its threshold. Unfortunately, we can't get a guy out long enough to do that. He's just drawing cards. He doesn't like what he's got. You can bring it in here, Space Harvey. I don't care, man. You can go for your invasion, maybe? Fine, have a good time. Submit. Double it up. All right, got him down to 9. He can only deal damage. He can't do anything about an 11-11, unfortunately for him. Now I have the ability to give it trample again. If he can't win this turn, I'm gonna win. You got a monk. Power fists. And here we go again. And we win. Victory! Now we're looking at Ajani's toxic counters. Yet this deck surprised me because I gotta tell you, when I saw this deck the first time and saw the toxic in there, I'm like, nope, I'm not playing it. I just have toxic left a bad taste in my mouth. You know, not trying to be funny here. I just didn't like it. Didn't like it. A little bit of toxic's okay, and this has just the baby's breath of toxic to it. I mean, we've got the Venerated Rot Piece, we got the Slaughter Singer, and then who else? The Bloated Contaminator. That's about it. You know, still it's a lot. I mean, there's 12 cards altogether out of the deck that are dedicated towards toxic. And that's fine. I mean, it's what I like about them in this case is they almost feel like they're super chumps. Like you put them out and the people freak out because they're all like, "Oh no, it's toxic. I better kill these guys." While your other guys have got it out. And that's what I really like about this deck is that multiple paths of victory. Oh, I love that. Because you got the Hopeful Initiate who's trying to grow. You got the Botanical Brawler that's growing every time somebody else gets a +1/+1 counter. And you start merging them together with like the Surge Veteran, Ozolith putting stuff down, Storm the Seed Core, which ended up being my favorite card of this deck. Love this one. You know, I'm surprised we don't ever see it because it is just so good, especially in a nice, Popo deck that likes to pass those things around. Ajani was fantastic because he was acting just like the Storm and the Seed Core. These two, were like copies of each other. This one does 4. This one does 3. He gives Vigilance. This one gives them Trample and Vigilance. So the individual spell is about the same cost, but, does a little bit better. Ajani costs the same, but is rechargeable. So you can reuse them multiple times, potentially. Anyways, yeah, this deck ended up being so much more fun just because there was multiple things going on there. I thought there was a third way of winning with this. I couldn't quite remember. Infectious Bite was pretty sweet, cool. What I liked about it is because each opponent gets a poison counter as well. Still blending in towards the whole poison, this thing. So anyways, for a deck, it did 2 different kinds of things, and it did it very well. I was a big fan of Ajani's toxic counters. Definitely the kind of thing I like to play more often. All right, we're playing against Ramekin. Keep. What do we got? That's number 2. We got 3 and 4. All right. Nothing to do. We gotta get some lands that we need to do. I swear to God, if this is just a blue counterspell deck, I will be so pissed. Oh no, it's Simic. Good. We got to our 3. That's excellent. Let's pump this out. Pop it on the blades. Take it all in. Okay, I just want to... Well, 4th mana, preferably a blue one would be great. Oh! Ho, ho. I'm going to play this out. That'll kill him. You're going to connive, you're going to get yourself pumped up. Oh, good for you. Alright, he's down to 3. This is probably going to win the game for us. We just got to get it out and wait a turn, unfortunately. He's trying to play some tricks on us here. Is this some sort of combo now? No, no, no. I mean, it's the combo, but it's not an infinite combo. It's close to it. Alright, got him down to 1. We have no trample, though. He's just going to do all this tricks. The thing that'll kill him will be the Kumano faces Kakazan. There we go, Slaughterville. And you lose. You don't have any mana, man. You got no mana. And that's what no mana people do. They die. Victory! And now we're looking at Izzet Sack. Yeah, also should have probably been called Izzet Death Strike. Because, like I said, this deck is less about sacrificing your guys and more about, you know, yelling, "From Hell's Heart, I stab at thee." As your dudes are dying, they reach out and do that much more damage to your opponent. So I really was surprised by this deck. Because it's like we really hadn't seen this in the meta at all, yet it was so effective and so good. And it's nice being able to make use of things like the Mirren Bane Splitter and the Blazing Crescendo to get your guys kind of temporary pumped up, so that way you could do that damage, as well as then if they die, you're doing that damage again. Who are the big friends there? It's the Balduvian Berserker, the Thrill Seeker, and the Cacophony Scamp are the ones that all like to do damage, essentially, when they die. You got to pay for the Berserker to do it, but Thrill Seeker and the Scamp, they'll just pass it out. The interesting card here is the only reason why this is Izzet is because of Mindlink Mech. I think this comes from Who Guess. He's a big fan of Mindlink Mech. He swore up and down this card is the bee's knees when you get it out and you get it to play. It's just that, yeah, when I played it, I mean, there's only 3 of them in here. It's like, what, 1/20th of the deck or something like that. You know, your chances of getting it are slim. There's not a lot of card draw going on, so you just kind of have to luck into it. Plus, then you have to have a second card out to be able to copy, and I can see why that'd be beneficial. It'd probably be super cool, but unfortunately, it's not consistent. Regardless, this deck was fantastic. If you like mono red decks and you like to play them in a different way that you're not doing your normal aggro thing, this deck was top shelf. All right, so anyways, one of my favorite decks of August 2023 is Izzet Sack. Toxic Avenger 666. 666, the number of the beast. All right, that is a good collection of lands there. Nope. Still everything. So you got 2. All right, Skrelv, you're up. I see a Brutal Cathar looking, touching Evolved Sleeper there. Negative. All right, so you can't do anything about our pal Feldon here, who's coming on out. Your Darth Vader goblin is interesting looking, but all right, you can pump those up to 2s, give them into make it 4 points of damage right now. All right, let's go for this. Let's put out a little Adeline. Trying to play strategically on me. What are you, blue player? All right, you got the ability to go into Death Touch. I'm not going to fall for it. He's got to be running out of that stuff pretty quick here is the deal. You can just pump up the other guy. That's about it. Alright, so even if you do kill him, Thar, he's just going back to 1 at this point. I know, you could bring him up to a 3. Single up. Let's go for the pump. Alright, now we're starting to swing, and you're costing yourself your own life. Let's see if they, oh, he's got 3 of those things. That's ridiculous. Alright. Alright, you're burning your own life. Ooh, Thalia is not bad. But let's do this instead. Alright, we'll keep the other 2. We'll keep the Siege Veterans back as batteries. That one. There we go. Have a good time. Jump in the way there, Gix. Otherwise, that's 10. Down to 1. And you kill yourself, suckerfish. Victory. You had to balk it. All right, we're looking at Boros Aggro. I think it was like last month. I was on this kick trying to play all the human variant decks. So I know mono white human is like the best win rate deck out there in the meta. And then you start seeing Azorius human and Naya human. They're all doing their thing, and so then at some point, I think I either made my own or I ran across somebody else's Boros human. And you know what? I loved it. I thought it was the best of all of the human cycle there. I thought it was way better. Now, of course, I love mono red. Man, I love mono red. That's my inner goblin just yearns for it. And so it's probably why I like it so much better. It just feels better. Everything about it is great. And we get to this, like pretty close to the end of this month. And I'm just like, I already had my top 5 picked out. And then I ran across this deck, Boros Aggro. And we kind of shook that whole need for it to be human. You know, we got Thundering Raju, we got Squee. Who else? We got some Skrelv in here. And this guy who's a vampire, I believe, the Dust Legion Jewels. Yeah. Yeah, so we're not playing human in this one. But yeah, it still worked out fantastic. Siege Veteran, I think, helps out any creature, so it doesn't matter. Yeah, nothing in here is soldier specific. Your guys get bigger. Hopeful Initiate gets bigger. It is so tight, so fast, so aggressive. I was really loving this. What's nice is it's got that it's got that mono white soldier thing kind of going on, mixed together with some nice hasty red sources, and oh, it's just so good. Yeah, this I know I just keep saying it's good, and I have a hard time explaining why. It's because the mono white soldiers, they do their thing. You know, Thalia comes out and makes things harder for people to cast. Brutal Cathar comes out and gets people out of the way. Adolin puts out dudes to help pump everything up. Siege Veteran makes everybody else pumped. Hopeful Initiate can destroy artifacts and enchantments as well as gets itself pumped. Skrelv will protect particular guys when you need to other than itself. And then you got all the haste. Putting out extra dudes, throwing out extra tokens, throwing out extra tokens. It's just a little firecracker. That's what is so good about it. It's an aggro deck, so there's not, it doesn't have staying power past the mid game. If it gets too long, you're probably not going to do things. But with Ossification and Brutal Cathar, hopefully you can pin down enough dudes that you'll be able to slip this thing in and take people out. It's not going to be a problem. I didn't think it was, and I thought this deck was fantastic. So anyways, that's what made Boros Aggro one of my favorite decks of this month. And here we are with the full list of the 5 decks that I found to be the best for August. I can tell you, I actually had 6. I had such a hard time. So I'm going to have to give honorable mention to Mono Red Winds. Mono Red Winds was actually my favorite. It was actually my favorite deck. I cut it from the list because it was just Mono Red Winds, I think there was one extra card in there, the one that says they can't gain any life, which was cool. But other than that, it's just a standard boring deck. I hate standard boring decks except for Mono Red. I could keep playing that over and over again. So anyways, I cut that. That's just honorable mention. It was super fun. And if you're looking for it, it was on August 9th. That's when I played it. But yep, the other 5 decks were great decks, and they just were more interesting because of their gameplay. They were different, and I like that quite a bit. All right, so there it is. You've got it right there. Jund Sacrifice, Awesome Gruul, Ajani's Toxic, counters. Izzet Death Strike, and Boros Aggro. Not a Boros Nuke or a Urbrask Forge in sight, even though I'm sure Urbrask Forge was in some of these decks here. But it wasn't the focus of it. That's strange. I don't know what's become of me. You know what it really is that Thrill Seeker really shone this month, big time. I found that in lots of the decks I was playing, that Thrill Seeker is really what did it. Anytime they said sacrifice in the name, like Jund Sacrifice or the Izzet Death Strike, it was the Thrill Seeker that really made everything come, really shine. That card is really an MVP. All right, so if you decide to play with any of these decks, I hope that you have as much fun as I did. All right, that's all for now. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to like and subscribe. From all of us here in the secret underground headquarters of Uncommonly Good MTG, have a great day. See you next time, Space Cowboys. Later.